billion in the April-June period. That's up from $28.2 billion in the same period a year ago. News at townhall.com. There were powerful storms in West Virginia this week.
Governor Patrick Morrisey has dispatched hundreds of National Guard members to northern West Virginia while placing all of the state's 55 counties under a state of emergency. The governor says state and local agencies will remain on the ground for as long as it takes to help affected communities. Forecasters report up to 7 inches of rain fell in some spots. The National Weather Service in Charleston warned of life-threatening flooding Tuesday night, urging people to seek higher ground now. Rich Thomason reporting.
R. James Woolsey, a national security expert who led the CIA for 2 years. After his appointment by President Bill Clinton has died, he was 84. And Charles Gaines, the author who helped bring bodybuilding into the mainstream with Pumping Iron, has died at 84. The documentary Pumping Iron, introducing Arnold Schwarzenegger to the world. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Media Network. We are broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville. It's Thursday morning. It's hour one, which means it's time for the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael, to be in studio. Crom, good morning.
Greetings, kind sir.
We have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
Well, we're going to get right to it. It's time now for the Morning Rundown, Crom, which is brought to you every weekday at this time by our very good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. Number one, Biden Special Prosecutor Jack Smith has been referred to the Department of Justice by the U.S. House of Representatives for criminal prosecution for lying to Congress.
Oh, my.
Steve Bannon saying, okay, let's see what happens here. Number two, Brandon Gill. You know, he's the Republican from member of the House from Texas who's got that Superman curl.
Yes.
And he is so good at his method of inquiry.
Yes.
Of these dopey leftists. He is just skewered the president of the ABA. We've got those clips. It's kind of fun to watch. And it's going to set up our conversation for today. Number three, the Houthis have attacked 2 oil tankers in the Red Sea. Number four, more bombings of Iran. Still the negotiation dance. That's got crazy. The negotiation's not going to work with those guys. Number five, Crom. This may be new to you. You know Mike Lindell?
Yes.
The MyPillow guy?
Yes.
Running for governor of Minnesota? He just confirmed to the world he's a complete moron. Would you like to know why?
Yes.
He's come out in favor of amnesty for illegal aliens. Yeah, literally, he did it. I thought it was AI, but no. We've got those clips. We'll
wow.
talk about that in a bit. Pandering, Stockholm Syndrome, moron, basically.
Wow.
And all of that applies to Mike Lindell. Number six, Harmeet Dillon is going to investigate what on earth went on in New Jersey. You know, the governor, Mikey Sherrill, the leftist, had to admit, we let 6,600 illegal aliens vote. But it was really just a software glitch, except John Solomon discovered, oh no, it wasn't a glitch. It was part of the, it wasn't a bug, it was a feature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is very, very widespread.
Phil Klein will talk to us about that.
Okay.
In hour two. Number seven, Crom, you'll love this. Also in hour two, you're not going to believe this, Crom. There's a Daughters of the American Revolution controversy. Have you heard about this?
Well, I'm familiar with Daughters of the American Revolution.
Yeah, they are female descendants of American soldiers who fought for independence in the American Revolution. Yeah. Very fun, prestigious organization, been around for a long time. Well, a bunch of lefties took it over, and they staged a vote. The big issue was, should we let trannies be members of the DAR?
Oh.
And they said yes. I know, it's kind of crazy. Laura McDonald will be with us in hour two. She says, no, It's for the daughters of the American Revolution. It's not for trannies, descendants. So that'll be our two. Number 8, Tom Zastowski will give us his insight into midterms and the big Trump speech on election integrity. And number 9, more of our exclusive interview with Senator Marsha Blackburn. You know, she came in World Headquarters, and we did about an hour interview. And it's really a great, she's talking about how a governor works with the Tennessee General Assembly. You got to listen to that. That'll be hour 2.
Okay.
So, Crom, there you go. That is the morning rundown for Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. Crom is brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. Now, you know, I've been telling everybody, Crom, about the big O-Site August events at the Glock Store for the last couple of weeks. You know, I told them about the O-Site VIP experience Friday, August 7th. It's very limited and would likely sell out. Guess what? It's sold out. But wait, there's more. If you want to come by for the free O-Site Day, Saturday, August 8th, it's there at the Glock Store. So you should go there. It's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Wow.
It's a free event. It'll have hands-on range time, great O-Site giveaways, exclusive in-store discounts, free O-Site swag, food trucks. The food trucks are great. Much, much more. So the fun starts, as I said, 9 a.m., goes till 6 p.m. That's O-Site Saturday, August 8th. That would be 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. And only at the Glock Store. It's minutes from the airport here in Nashville. But, Crom, importantly, worth the drive from anywhere. And, you know, we have listeners all across the United States of America. And last time when they had the open house, a couple of fellows drove in all the way from West Virginia. Some from Florida, some from the Bronx. And if however far you're driving, if you go there on Saturday to the O-Site August event, the free event at the Glock Store, you just go up and say, you say, hey, I want to talk to Lenny McGill, the founder and CEO.
He'll be there.
And tell him how far you drove. And tell him you listened to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Yep.
So there you go, Crom. That's the morning rundown. And I do have a programming note, though. So our program runs 2 hours, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central. It's 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. On August 17th, mark your calendars, we're moving our time slot to 2 p.m. Central to 4 p.m. Central. That's 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. It's all part of a big plan here that John Fredericks is buying another radio station here in Middle Tennessee.
With 5,000 watts.
Yeah, with 5,000 watts. And as part of this deal, so we'll be on 2 stations, one in Nashville, one in Franklin, Tennessee. But as part of this deal, the Tennessee Volunteers will be carried on those 2 stations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But wait, there's more, Crom.
All right.
The great Mike Keith will follow me.
Okay.
So he's going to do a 1-hour program that starts August 27th. Mike Keith, the great broadcaster, who did the Titans for a long time.
Sure.
But now he's the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers. That will be a fun show.
Yeah, it will be.
Right here.
It'll even be more fun if the Vols do well.
They'll do well. National champions, I think.
Oh, well, we'll see.
That's my prediction. Okay. Now, our listeners in West Virginia are saying, no, it's going to be the Mountaineers.
Well, they're different conferences, so we don't have to worry about it.
Our listeners in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are saying Penn State or the Panthers.
Yeah.
Our listeners for Virginia are saying the Cavaliers.
Yes. All of these
or the Hokies.
At least all these are different conferences.
Yeah.
So you're good until the very end of the season.
It's going to be the Tennessee Volunteers.
I love college football.
All right. You know what else I love? The Inquisition technique of Brandon Gill. And he had, earlier he had the Smithsonian director on. Yesterday he had the head of the ABA. You got to watch this. Crom, you haven't seen this yet. Clip 1.
According to the ABA's website, quote, all of us have implicit biases. Would you agree with that statement?
The ABA believes that diversity, equity, and inclusion improves the practice.
Would you agree with the statement that, quote, all of us have implicit biases from the ABA's website?
The ABA believes that diversity in all of its
Is that a
realms
yes?
is
Can I
important.
take that? It's a yes or no question. Do you believe that all of us have implicit biases, as your website says?
The ABA looks to remove barriers, and we examine...
That's not my question, ma'am. Do you believe that all of us have implicit biases?
I've expressed what the ABA is doing.
That is the ABA's position. as expressed by their website. Against which groups do you have implicit biases?
The ABA believes that it's important to always
Are you going to filibuster? Because it doesn't make you sound very good. I'm going to ask you again, against which groups do you have implicit biases?
It's important to always examine everyone's point of view and where they may need to.
Does she sound like an idiot?
What about you?
No.
Crom, go ahead.
Yeah, but this is what the left does, and we'll talk about it in the next segment.
You got time. You got 30 seconds.
But this is what the left does, and it sounds stupid, but it still advances their cause.
Yeah. Well, there's more to come on this.
Yeah.
And you'll love this next clip. It'll lead right into your theme.
Okay, all right.
Back with Crom Carmichael, the original All-Star panelist after this.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking, free. General admission, free. Memories, priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world. A government that values individual liberty and justice. A system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Crum, before we jump into the additional Brandon Gill clip and then go into your discussion of what the Democrats are up to these days, I do have an interesting program note. This is breaking news. The author Eric Matexas is going to be in Middle Tennessee at Landmark Booksellers.
Oh, okay.
For a 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. event this Friday. And you can go to Landmark Booksellers. 6 p.m. sold out. It's his new book on the Revolution.
Okay.
And 6 p.m. is sold out. 2 p.m. you can still get tickets. We just confirmed that we will have an exclusive 15 or 20-minute interview with Eric that afternoon.
Oh.
And so you'll be able to see that on Monday. He's really a great guy.
Okay.
So there you go.
Good for you. Yep.
Okay. Brandon Gill. I just love this guy's style. So he makes these nutty leftists squirm by just asking common sense questions. And I like his style, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
He asks the question very straightforward. When they try to filibuster, he jumps in and says, no, answer the question.
Well, but doesn't it we like it. It doesn't change a thing.
Now,
and that doesn't mean I'm not being disparaging.
I understand.
Brandon Gill.
There's a reason, though. Let's show this.
Yeah. Okay.
You love this.
Yeah. Okay.
He asked the president of the ABA about Joe Biden's selection of a black woman. Only a black woman was considered, Ketanji Brown Jackson, for the Supreme Court. Listen to this clip.
Okay.
Was race a factor in Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination?
I have no idea how that process works. I'm a real estate lawyer.
President Biden stated, quote, "I've made no decision except one, and that's that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court." So I think it's fair to say that race was and gender were factors in that nomination process. Wouldn't you agree?
You would have to have a conversation.
He explicitly stated that, so I think it's fair to say. You're a lawyer. I think that's fair to say. Do you think that it's just or righteous that Joe Biden explicitly excluded black men in the nomination process for the Supreme Court vacancy?
The ABA does not support discrimination of any sort.
So you don't think that it was proper for Joe Biden to exclude every group other than black women in deciding who should fill that Supreme Court vacancy? Is that your testimony?
The ABA relishes diversity, equity, and
right,
inclusion.
But is it acceptable for Joe Biden to exclude black men in the nomination pool for the Supreme Court?
The ABA never supports discrimination.
That's good to hear.
Crom?
Well, it is. Let me say this. It is. I really enjoy what Representative Gill does. He's very, very good at it. And you know, it's fun to listen to because you get these self-righteous liberals who dominate now our institutions, and all these organizations like the ABA, like the Smithsonian. All these different institutions are dominated by the left. Now you're telling me that Daughters of the Revolution is now even dominated by the left to the point where they have voted that daughters should include trans people. And so what I'm saying is that so if one of those people on the board testified before Brandon Gill would make them look silly, but it wouldn't change anything. This is what my great concern is.
We ought to ask, Brandon Gill ought to ask this question. If a black man transitioned, would that be okay for him to be nominated if Biden had picked him? That'd be interesting to see that answer.
Well, or if a white man said, I identify as a black woman.
There you go.
I'd like to be considered. And I mean, so the point I'm trying to make is as I look at our politics, and I've really, as I've gotten older, I've gotten to where I study history and like to read history. I find it more and more interesting because there's so many insights that you can get if you know history, and if you don't, then by definition, you're ignorant when it comes to history. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how many God-given, how your brain, what a great brain you might have. If you don't know stuff, you're by definition ignorant. And it's kind of like Milton Friedman had an interesting debate with a guy named Michael Harrington. I don't know if you remember Michael Harrington. He was
very much a socialist, communist.
Yeah, but they would have these discussions.
Academic.
Yes, they would have these discussions, and he was talking about how powerful the government was in the between 1890 and the 1925. He was talking about how powerful the federal government was and how it did this and did that. And Milton Friedman's response was, he says, Michael, as you usually do, you're looking at the hole in the barn door, not the barn door. And he said the federal government, total spending of the federal government in the years you're saying that they were so powerful was 3% of the GDP. You can't be that powerful if you're spending 3% of the GDP.
We're about 24%.
We're 24% now. So the point I'm trying to make is that solid arguments of logic apparently do not prevail, because as I look at history, when the Democrats have the power to do so, they expand the size and scope of government. That's what they do.
Yeah.
When Republicans have the power to reverse it, they don't. They might slow it down, and they might put it in neutral until the Democrats have power again. And so what I look at now is I say, okay, well, the next time that Democrats have power at all three levels, the presidency, the House, and Senate, what will they do? And next time they'll fundamentally change the rules so it's almost impossible for them to lose power again. And then the policies that they'll pass, Michael, could be so incredibly destructive. And what does that mean from a practical standpoint? What would be the biggest, the largest practical problem with the way the left would govern, based on what they're now saying they would do?
It would be the destruction of productivity.
Yeah, not just the destruction of productivity, the destruction of the value that has accumulated.
Yeah.
So let me talk about that just for a second.
Good point.
The total stock market, all the publicly traded stock markets in the United States, the value of those today is about $80 trillion. Okay, the value of the Russian stock market is not even $1 trillion. It's not even $1 trillion, and the value of the Chinese stock market is $15 trillion. And so who owns that $80 trillion worth of value? According to the left, it's the rich. And that is factually false. Do the rich own a significant amount of it for them in terms of themselves? And the answer is yes, they own about 25%.
The rest is owned by the rest of us through various retirement programs,
401ks, IRAs. But here's the thing, and also government pension plans.
Yes.
And so government pension plans own a tremendous amount of the stock market, and the left now says that the largest companies, and by the way, there were 3 million new businesses formed last year, 3 million in 1 year.
Yeah.
So what would be, and there are over 30 million business entities in existence. So would it be fair to say, Michael, when the left says the largest company should be owned by the government, would that be like the S&P 500? That's only 500 companies out of 30 million. Is that who they would claim the government should own? That's $60 trillion of value. So my question to them is, how do you take control of those companies and have the government own those companies? Where does the $60 trillion go? And if the pension plans of retirees is destroyed when you just take the stock, what do? Do you starve those people? How does that work? And nobody asks them these questions.
The follow-up questions don't happen.
They're terrible.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll have more Crom Carmichael's insights into what's going on with the socialist, communist, Islamo-Marxist Democrats, former Democrats. Back with Crom after this.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girl sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to criminal illegals invading our state. Because with Johnny Garrett, what you see is what you get. It's time to bring more Tennessee to D.C. Send Trump conservative Johnny Garrett to Congress.
I'm Johnny Garrett, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. The original All-Star panelist, Carmichael, in studio. I think I need to clean up on aisle 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you made a good point during the break that the Democrat Party, it has not changed. It's transitioned to the Communist Party.
Yeah, it is in the process of doing that. And then you have people like Van Jones who and James Carville who say how terrible it is that the Democrats are becoming communist, but when it comes time to vote, James Carville and Van Jones will vote for the communist.
You are spot on.
I mean, that's what they'll do. Now, that doesn't mean that they themselves are communists. It's just that communism is the ultimate end for Democrat policy.
Yeah.
Because Democrats have always wanted, in my lifetime, in fact, even back well before my lifetime, going back to FDR, which was before my lifetime, they've always wanted government to become bigger. Woodrow Wilson was 1920.
Yeah.
So over 100 years ago, the Democrat Party has always wanted government to become bigger and more powerful. Now what's happened is that the Democrat Party, the government is now so big and so powerful that it has to have a party that represents it.
Yes.
And that is the Democrat Party. Well, the ultimate representation of a party representing government is communism. That's the ultimate, because then there is nothing but the government, but it also is a total failure from an economic standpoint. But that won't stop them. And this is what my biggest concern is, that you look at what they threw out Graham Plattner not because they disagreed with him, but because he fell behind Susan Collins in the polls. In Wisconsin, they're now trying to bring back a guy who dropped out because they found out that a few years ago he was on social media and he disparaged women and he disparaged the gay and lesbian community. He's a black man who's a county commissioner from Milwaukee or some position like that, but they're now scared that this crazy communist is going to win the Democrat nomination And so they've now asking this guy who's completely flawed as a human being to get back in the race because they're scared that this woman's an Asian person who believes that
completely crazy communist.
She's like Mao.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're scared that she'll lose. They wouldn't care if they thought she'd win. This is the point.
Yeah.
Is that a communist who wins is perfectly fine
with the
Democrat Party.
Newt Gingrich has a few words to say about this.
Okay.
Let's hear from him.
Hey, Speaker, do you think Kamala has what it takes to wear that commie crown?
No. I think it's ridiculous. I think that she starts at about 35%, and by the end of the campaign, she'll be at about 12. There's no there. I mean, authenticity matters. You can be authentically Donald Trump. You can be authentically Bill Clinton, or authentically Barack Obama, but she couldn't even be inauthentically authentic. It's astonishing to watch her.
What about Mondani? He seems to be the driving force behind this communist wave. Is this thing going to crash and burn, or does this have legs?
Oh, no, look, Mondani is the ultimate sort of temper tantrum by a juvenile. Nothing he says is real. Nothing that he's doing is real. His idea about, he's not in touch with the planet. He says, we'll give you free bus rides. That's not true. What he's saying to you is, we're going to steal from somebody else to pay for your bus ride. He says he's going to arrest Netanyahu. He knows he can't arrest Netanyahu. He knows it's a lie. That won't happen under American law. But he is New York City. He is the darling of the left. And therefore, he's going to have a huge impact on defining the Democratic Party, which I have to say, and I agree with President Trump on this, I mean, if we end up in an election this fall between a communist Democratic Party and the rest of the country, it could be one of the most historic collapses in American political history.
Okay, Crom, I want to follow up on this.
Yeah, now that's let's follow up on that last part. And so do you think? And I'm not going to interrogate you, but I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I think
you can do your Brandon Gill interpretation.
I think El-Sayed is going to be the Democrat nominee in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about Michigan if he becomes the senator from Michigan?
That it has been taken over by the Islamo-Marxists.
Yes, and Michigan is a swing state.
Yeah.
So this isn't New York. This is Michigan. You've got this crazy communist who is likely to win the Democrat nomination for the governor of Wisconsin. What does it say if she wins that nomination and then becomes the governor?
Another swing state.
And this is what I'm saying. This is another swing state. And so this is what my concern is. These are going to be indications. And that's what history teaches is you look for things that are road signs, road marks or whatever the right term is.
Road maps.
The road map.
Signs on the
signs
road.
Signposts.
Signposts.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was struggling. It reminded me of this professor who was on CNN the other day, and he said this is not rocket surgery. And so I was getting my metaphors all screwed up. But anyway, this is California's a crazy state.
Yeah.
I now am absolutely convinced that California. By the way, when you get a driver's license in California, you are automatically registered to vote. Illegal immigrants can drive in California if they have a driver's license. So illegal immigrants in California are automatically registered to vote. So anybody who says that there's not voter fraud is either ignorant to a point that's hard to imagine, or just completely dishonest. And we talked about New Jersey. This is the tip of the iceberg. And what will happen is if the Democrats win the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the voting laws of California will become the laws of the U.S. Yeah, and so I'm looking at the races in the swing states for the Senate and the governor, I'm also looking at the race in Maine because the Democrats, this stand-in candidate who didn't win a single primary vote, didn't even run in the primaries. This guy's as far left as Plattner, and is a fool.
Doesn't have the Nazi tattoo. But,
doesn't. That's the only thing that's different. The rest, I mean, and maybe or maybe not. He chased a bunch of young girls. I have no idea about that, but his political positions aren't a bit different than Graham Plattner. He's a hardcore leftist, and so what I'm saying is,
I think Susan Collins is going to beat him. He's that weak.
I'm agreeing with you that I believe Susan Collins will win, but these are the races that I'm watching as indicators to see where the public is.
So I think if the crazy communist wins the gubernatorial nomination in Wisconsin, she'll lose. I think, though, that the bellwether is going to be this al-Said Islamo-Marxist is going to win the Democrat nomination for Senate.
It looks to me like he is going to win that, and that's in a week or 10 days, something like that.
But the challenge in Michigan is going to be, will the Republican beat him in the general?
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, but the Republican. I'm not going to say the Republican candidate is a great candidate. He's a very good candidate. He is a very good candidate. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they run against this guy. This guy has claimed all along that he's a medical doctor. What do you call a medical doctor who's never treated a patient? A fraud. That's what you call them. I don't care if they have a degree. He didn't ever pass a board. He's never seen a patient. So don't tell me you're a doctor. You studied medicine. Fine. Good for you. Plaudits. Then you wasted the rest. You spent all that time for what? So that you could propose Medicare for all? Guess what? You don't need to be a doctor to say something stupid like that. And so
he could have said that stupid thing without having gone to medical school.
You don't have to go to medical school to say something stupid like that. And so my point is the guy's a phony.
But here's the problem.
He and his wife are worth millions of dollars.
Here's the problem, though, in Michigan. The strategy of the Islamist takeover of the United States has had some success in Michigan. They've taken over Dearborn. They've taken over a couple cities. And really, right in Dearborn right now, if you're a Christian or a Jew, you're in trouble because your rights are violated.
I get that. That's one congressional district out of how many in Michigan? What I'm saying is Michigan's a swing state. Michigan is a swing state. So it's not New York and it's not Maine. Michigan is a true swing state. And so I'm going to be watching that race to kind of see where I think the public is moving.
I think it's Rogers is going to be the nominee for the Republican. I think he'll beat al-Said, but it's going to be close.
If he does, then that should give those of us who believe in logic and free markets and prosperity that you get prosperity through free markets, that you can argue those points. But if al-Said were to win, that'd be a very, very bad sign.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try to have some good signs when we come back.
All righty.
With Crime Carmichael. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Back after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, Crom, Mikey Sherrill, the leftist communist, who's the governor of New Jersey, fessed up, sort of, the other day and said, you know, we had this automatic registration thing for with the Department of Motor Vehicles, and 6,600 people who registered with the Department of Motor Vehicles, illegal aliens, were eligible to vote. Mm-hmm. Only 400 of them actually voted, she said. It was a glitch from the software company. John Solomon looked into that. It wasn't so. Clip 3.
Let's get down to the glitch. That was the excuse we were given for why 6,600 non-citizens, i.e. foreigners, made it onto New Jersey's voter rolls, and approximately 400 of them actually voted. That's the single largest concentration of foreigners ever known to vote in an election. The New Jersey governor, Mikey Sherrill, a Democrat, came out yesterday and said, oh, I know I picked on Donald Trump on Thursday night saying I didn't believe his speech, but we do have 6,600 non-citizens confirmed on our voter rolls. I actually knew this last week, and it was really the software vendor. It's a glitch. Well, overnight, the software vendor, who ironically is based in France, think about that. We have a foreign national company managing part of our election infrastructure in New Jersey. They came out and said, not so fast, Governor. It isn't our glitch. We pass the data to you. You decide if they're supposed to be voting. You let these foreigners onto your, meaning New Jersey, you let these foreigners onto your voter rolls and onto your ability to vote.
So, Crom, here's a point I'm going to make.
I'm
going to make a point.
Will the French company lose its contract?
I don't know. Here's the point I was going to make.
Yeah, so sorry.
Okay. Here's what the Democrats are doing. The Democrats are telling lies confidently.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, you and I were talking about this before, right?
Yeah.
And because a large part of the voting population can't think critically, they respond to the confidence with which the lies are told. And they can't analyze them.
Well, and the media doesn't report when it turns out the person who spoke incorrectly but confidently turned out to be wrong.
Yeah.
The media doesn't report that.
No.
And when I'm partly I blame it on voters, but the average voter's a hardworking person.
Yeah.
Who has a job, who has a family, and doesn't have the time that, frankly, that you or I have. Of course, your job is to.
My job.
Your job is to stay at.
My job, Crom.
Yeah.
Our job at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, find the truth
Yeah.
and report it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so that you're paid to do that. That's what you do. So the average person, if they're not reading the Tennessee Star, if they're reading the Tennessean, then they're.
Is that still around?
It still is. And but if they report what the news that they want to report, and things like this story in New Jersey, if it gets in the newspaper at all, it's not a front page headline. And but during the break I did some searching on California, and I mean you get 3 different results on people being automatically registered to vote when they get a driver's license, depending on how you word the question.
Yeah.
Which tells me that in California, if you go to get a driver's license, there's a very good chance, even if you're an illegal immigrant, there's a very good chance that you're going to be registered to vote, because these search engines give a bunch of different answers, just depending on the way you ask that question. If you say if you apply for a driver's license in California, are you automatically registered to vote? And the answer the search engines give on that is AI. It says, yes, you're automatically registered to vote. Then if you ask the question, if you're an illegal immigrant and you apply for a driver's license, are you automatically registered to vote? And then they say, no. If you are an illegal immigrant, you're not. But then the question is, well, how do they know the difference if somebody just shows up? And
Where'd you do that on?
And they don't.
Grok or GPT?
That was DuckDuckGo's AI tool.
Well, that explains.
But no, you could go to Grok or any of them. What I'm saying is that the question is, if a bureaucrat at the Department of Motor Vehicles in California is you go in and you show a utility bill or something that proves that where you live.
Mm-hmm.
And you say you're a U.S. citizen. I don't think you have to prove you are. You have to say you are.
You assert it.
You assert it, and then you're registered to vote. And what I'm saying is the amount of cheating that goes on is growing. And
indeed it is.
And the left knows it, and for them, it's part of their strategy.
It's their plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is that is so concerning to me is that the institutions on the left now, no matter how they what they have to do to regain power, they will do it because they believe the ends justify the means.
When we come back, Crom, you'll be on your way to your business appointments. But when we come back, at the Daughters of the American Revolution, the leftists have taken it over. If you're a tranny, you can be a daughter of the American Revolution. Back with Laura McDonald about that after the news. Crom, thanks for joining us today.
You betcha.
All right, the original all-star panelist building the edifice of logic, brick by brick. Back with more after this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day. People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
From Town Hall, I'm John Scott. House Republicans adopt a $95 billion spending package for the Iran war and President Trump's other priorities. Bernie Bell returns.
Chief and Defense Minister, both of whom lost their jobs. The new Army Chief, Major General Mikhailo Drupataya, is part of a new generation of Ukrainian generals. Zelensky has tasked Drupataya with updating the defense strategy. Street protests in Kyiv demanded the return of the tech-savvy defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones have struck warehouses in Russia, targeting facilities they say are being used for drone production. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
In consumer news, Ford may indeed have a better idea.
Texas resident Kenneth Kovar has a home energy setup from Ford in which drivers of certain popular F-150 models can plug their vehicle directly into their electric meter to power their home during an outage. It's the latest example of automakers broadly adapting their electrification technologies to the home energy business, especially as demand on the grid increases and sales of electric vehicles slow. Car companies are looking to leverage their multi-billion-dollar EV investments to tap into a promising market in vehicle, home, and grid technology, both for backup power and for supporting electrical grid resiliency. Keith Peters reporting.
Tropical storm Bertha turning toward Texas earlier today after making landfall over Louisiana on Wednesday, then heading offshore again. It continued to bring rain to a large swath on the northern Gulf Coast along its path. As Bertha traveled westward, the storm was expected to make another landfall along the northwestern Gulf Coast. Bertha has had maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. More on these stories from townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Canada is hoping to improve its trade relationship with Washington. Bob Agnew with a report.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says he and President Trump have agreed to intensify trade negotiations between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. That comes a day after President Trump announced the U.S. would be imposing 50% tariffs on most Canadian goods, citing unfair treatment of American products. The tariffs would exclude energy but impact other top Canadian exports, including auto parts and precious metals. Bob Agnew reporting.
Google parent company Alphabet Incorporated posting stronger than expected results for its second quarter, a sign that its massive artificial intelligence spending spree is paying off so far. The Mountain View, California-based company said it earned $112.11 billion in the April-June period. That's up from $28.2 billion in the same period a year ago. News at townhall.com. There were powerful storms in West Virginia this week.
Governor Patrick Morrisey has dispatched hundreds of National Guard members to northern West Virginia while placing all of the state's 55 counties under a state of emergency. The governor says state and local agencies will remain on the ground for as long as it takes to help affected communities. Forecasters report up to 7 inches of rain fell in some spots. The National Weather Service in Charleston warned of life-threatening flooding Tuesday night, urging people to seek higher ground now. Rich Thomason reporting.
R. James Woolsey, a national security expert who led the CIA for 2 years. After his appointment by President Bill Clinton has died, he was 84. And Charles Gaines, the author who helped bring bodybuilding into the mainstream with Pumping Iron, has died at 84. The documentary Pumping Iron, introducing Arnold Schwarzenegger to the world. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We welcome to our newsmaker line Laura McDonald, who is with the Daughters of the American Revolution and led the effort that would have prohibited transgenders, that is, people who are born men who think they're women, from joining the Daughters of the American Revolution because of some machinations by the leftists who've taken control of the Daughters of the American Revolution. That failed. Laura is with us now. Tell us about this, Laura.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on your show. And first, let me just tell your audience, for my sake, I'm not saying you've said this, but I am a member of the DAR, but I don't speak for the DAR. I am the founder of a 501c3 called Daughters Advocating for Restoration that's made up of like-minded members who want to see the DAR restored to being a organization for biological women. But yes, essentially over the last few years, we've realized that leaders, those who have executive and state national offices, have made internal policy decisions, quietly admitting men who have amended birth certificates. And this was, again, something done, not a vote of the assembly, but just a decision that was made to do this. And so when members have found out about it, they are, rightfully upset about it, confused, and want to know, how did we get here and how do we remedy this?
And so, interestingly enough, let me just say this: that we haven't talked about this, Laura, but I'm an amateur genealogist, and I know that I am a direct descendant of a couple of Revolutionary War veterans, Caleb Dodge, who was in the Massachusetts militia and fought at the Battle of Saratoga, and Silas Green, who was in the American Revolutionary War Navy and fought at the Battle of Block Island in Rhode Island. Now, I, as a male, I appreciate the Daughters of the American Revolution, but I am not eligible to join unless I were to suddenly say, oh, no, really, I identify as a woman. My daughters could join. I think that's the way it should be. What has happened with the leadership of the Daughters of the American Revolution, where they've decided they want to make it open to transgender men who think they're women?
Right. Well, I want to be as gracious as I possibly can. So if I was going to give the ultimate benefit of the doubt, I've been told that this happened, as early as 2012 or 2013. And at the time, the woman who was the President General, a very respected, loved, and admired fellow Texan, told us that we're just finding this out, that it happened under her administration. Do I think that she's an activist? No, I absolutely do not. I think that she was faced with a decision, and she made a wrong decision personally. So what happened is she said that she encountered what she called a trans daughter application, somebody she knew was a man, but who had submitted a birth certificate that said female. And so she asked the genealogical department, what do we do about this? And was advised that, well, if the birth certificate says female, we can't question that document, and they just failed right on through. So do I think that that was an ideological position at that point? No, not necessarily, but it's morphed into that over the last decade or so because we've uncovered internal documents that leaders make the claim that trans women are not men. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if there was a decision made to do this because they thought we had to, whether it was a legal thing, that's one thing, which I still would disagree with. But when you understand that even the President General herself now, the current President General, is part of an open public Facebook group called Daughters for Inclusivity, where they make the claim that, quote, trans women are women, and they want us members to go along with that notion. Somebody we know is a male, but if he says he's a female, that we have to go along with that. That's really where we're at right now. And so when members are trying to say, well, hold on a second, let's talk about this, let's vote on this, amending our bylaws, for the last 3 years we've tried to do that. We've been rejected by the board. They have kept us from doing that. So, there's a lot of trails we could go down on this, but we are in a governance crisis right now within the DAR. You've got some of the women at the top who have become ideologically active. They're activists, I would say, in this, and so they believe in it so much that they're willing to.
Well, they've taken over the Daughters of American Revolution, it seems to me. And
right.
How many members are there of the Daughters of American Revolution?
There's a lot. It's huge. It hovers anywhere from 187,000 to 190,000 members.
And traditionally, I think the group does civic education and scholarships for women, right? What else does it do typically?
Well, we are a service organization. Our motto is God, Home, and Country. Our mission is historic preservation, patriotism, and education. And we serve our communities. We honor veterans. We give out scholarships, not just to women, but to students. The Good Citizens Award. I have people tell me they have such fond memories of receiving a Good Citizen Award or scholarship, during their junior high and high school years. DAR has always been a big part of local communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has been. How many members of the board are there, and how many of them are ideologically promoters of the transgender participants in the Daughters of American Revolution?
The board is made up of about 85 to 90 women.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all 50 state regents, plus the executive officers, plus 21 vice presidents general. And that comes to roughly, 85 to 90 women. And we know that at least the President General does take the position that trans women are women, and several other state national officers cling on to that too, glom onto that. But as far as the whole board itself, here's the thing: is you've got women who probably by and large do not believe that trans women are women. They don't believe that men can be women, but they know that if they were to really speak their mind, that any ambitions they have to move up in the DAR are over at that point. Truly, and we have this in writing. I can say this very confidently. Believe it or not, it is in writing. They have told members that if you go along with this, you're not going to get any new member referrals to your chapter, and we're not going to help you with genealogical research for your application.
Yeah, they've taken the lefties have taken over the Daughters of the American Revolution. Why don't you just start the real Daughters of the American Revolution?
We get that question a lot, and the truth is, we are not willing to concede this institution that was created over a century ago, 136 years ago, by women who were told, you can't be members of the Sons of the American Revolution, you need to go start your own. the repository of records that we have, the relics that we have, our properties in D.C., those are ours. Why should we concede our institution?
So how are you going to fix this problem, though? Because, you know, the left takes over institutions, and it looks like they've taken over the Daughters of the American Revolution. Do you have any support to fix this problem?
We've got a few avenues, but I'll tell you the number one thing we do is pray, and we call on God, just like our founders did with the firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. We're looking to the Lord to provide a victory and a miracle, just like they did for our Revolutionary War patriots. So that's the first thing, is we've called on God to help us. The second thing is, you know, we're trying to work through our governance process within the DAR, bylaw amendments, special meetings, resolutions to determine our own membership eligibility. And another thing that's come about, very important, is the DAR is congressionally chartered.
Yeah.
So right now, Representative Klein from the state of Virginia has authored a bill that would amend that charter to say, Daughters of the American Revolution, if you want to keep your charter, you have to adhere to your bylaws and make sure that applicants or members meet the criteria that you've set out in your bylaws.
I think you're going to need, Laura, more than prayers. You're going to need money. You're going to need legal support and political support.
Sir.
All right.
We do.
Laura, if somebody wants to help you, where do they go?
DaughtersAdvocatingRestoration.org, and we just Google us. You'll find our website, Facebook, and Give, Send, Go.
Laura, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's a noble cause.
Thank you very much.
Back with Phil Klein and what Harmeet Dillon's up to in New Jersey. It's good news. Back after this.
Ponder this. All of God's children, you and I, have been created in God's own image. It's hard to fathom, isn't it? One thing we do know about God is that He's perfectly free. So He created us perfectly free to follow Him and free to deny Him. We have the choice. Our choice, however, has eternal consequences. It is the biggest decision in your life. I'm sure that most of you, if not all of you, want the final elevator ride to go up, not down. How we live on this earth determines our eternal destination, up or down, heaven or hell, and yes, hell is real. God has rules for us to follow in order to be admitted into His heavenly home. Just like the rules you may have for people to enter your home, maybe you do not allow smoking or profane language, God too has rules. There are 10 of them. We are called to obey His rules, not to change them, adapt them, or ignore them. The 10 Commandments guide our entry into eternal life. We must obey His rules in order to enter His heavenly home. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just 1 local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
I'm Scott Desjardins, and I approve this message.
We will make America great again.
President Donald Trump has given his complete and total endorsement to Congressman Scott Desjardins, saying he fights for our military, veterans, law enforcement, and the Second Amendment.
I'm honored to be endorsed by President Trump. I know together we've got to control inflation, secure our borders, and strengthen our military.
Scott Desjardins, representing the people of the 4th Congressional District.
With your support, we will make America great again. Paid for by friends of Scott Desjardins.
Johnny Garrett's not some out-of-touch D.C. politician. Johnny Garrett's a Tennessean, a Christian conservative, and a proud father of 3 who's sick of the far left ruining our country with their radical policies. Conservative Johnny Garrett is proudly pro-life, pro-Trump to his core, and will always put America first. In Congress, Garrett will fight to lower taxes, cut government waste, and will always back the blue and support law and order. Garrett's fought for us in Nashville, and that's what he'll do in Congress. No to biological boys playing girls' sports. No to communist China buying our farmland. And no to Trump conservative Johnny.
Candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Johnny Garrett for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by the former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, a leading legal expert in the country, and a professor of law, the one, the only Phil Klein. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Michael.
So you've been an election integrity expert for some time, and the big news a week ago today, Donald Trump gave a 28-minute address, which he outlined a series of election integrity problems. Then, day before yesterday, the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, comes up and says, well, all that election integrity stuff, it's not true, except, we have 6,600 illegal aliens who are registered to vote here in New Jersey. It's a glitch from the software. John Solomon went in and said, talk to the software company. Not a glitch. It's not a bug. It's a feature of the software program. Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General, says we are going to prosecute here and we're going to deport any illegal aliens who voted. What are your thoughts on all this, Phil?
Well, it's remarkable to see the overall response to President Trump's address. It's like he called the police and said, look, somebody's broken into our home, and that somebody is China and others who've infiltrated and pilfered identities from the voter rolls and so forth. And the first response of the left and the so-called mainstream media is, one, not to show up. It's to say, oh, we don't care, we're not worried about this at all. Or to say, wait a minute. We don't know that China had ill intent or that there really is a problem with this. In other words, the police show up, they look at your back door, it's been smashed in, the glass is all broken on the floor, and they say, well, they might not have meant to harm you, and I don't think anything has been stolen. We'll go inside and investigate. I mean, the left is even denying access in many instances to voter rolls. Michael, we've discussed this through the years. We have a big open door for people to hack our voting rolls. That's been demonstrated for decades now. Russia did it. China did it. And in fact, in the 2020 election, blue state election officials gave out electronic access to our registration rolls to private nonprofits. And nobody's audited who they enrolled or registered to vote. Nobody has taken a look at it. The governor of New Jersey was caught in the problem. She seems to be cooperating, but the problem is much broader. I would hope that the Department of Justice will look at these private-public contracts, like what the state of Michigan had with Rock the Vote, which allowed leftist activists to initiate voter registration electronically with greater access to the poll books than local election officials in Michigan. Our system, it's wide open. And we, unfortunately, because of this constant Trump-Biden narrative that the left keeps talking about, nobody is willing to really look at it and change it and make a difference. Now, it's distressing to know the seriousness of the problems and the blindness of our policymakers to them.
Oh, Harmie Dillon says she's going to look into it and find and deport.
Well, she's looking into New Jersey, but there's a whole lot more.
Yeah, and New Jersey isn't a swing state, right? I mean,
no. Again, you had public-private contracts that allowed people who are not in any way accountable to the electorate, that are private, nonprofits, to register voters electronically. I have an affidavit from a colleague of mine who lived in Michigan, was born in Michigan. She's probably in her late 50s. She left Michigan about the age of 18 to go to college. About 10 years later, got married, has never returned to Michigan. Guess who voted at the home she resided at when she was born? She did, by her maiden name. She never even registered to vote by her maiden name. But that voter voted in the 2020
So somebody
election.
impersonated her, basically.
I can go out and I can buy change of address forms from the United States Post Office.
Mm-hmm.
I could buy marital records from the United States Post Office. I could create a software program that cross-references those people to where they live and their new names. And what do you think the odds are if I create a registration for that person in their maiden name at the address that they were born in a state they've not lived in for 30 years, that they would go back and check their voting history to see if they're voted?
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
but she did it. So you can with the internal hack, private-public contracts, the electronic nature of all this data collected in one place, it is easy, relatively, to manufacture registrations or to allow non-citizens to vote.
Yeah, interesting about this, Phil. When you look at it, in the president's address, he specifically mentioned looking into the problems in the state of Michigan. I think you were very much involved in some of the early work in Michigan. Tell us about that, and tell us about how the left has sort of said, oh, no, this isn't happening.
Well, what he raised in Michigan was an investigation by Michigan State Police that was downplayed by the FBI, in which persons were paid to go get registrations, which, paying a person per registration is going to incentivize the manufacture of registrations. Well, that just doesn't happen in Michigan. Mm-hmm. It happened in Georgia. It happened all over in the 2020 election. Mm-hmm. We had evidence of direct payments per registration in Georgia and elsewhere. What's stunning to me, Michael, this has been known. This has been known for more than a decade now. This type of stuff goes on.
Phil, you and you've been working on it for more than a decade. I've been reporting on it at Breitbart and at the Tennessee Star and our Georgia Star News Network for more than a decade as well.
Yeah, you've got public-private contracts for signature verification in some states where there's no auditing of how those signatures are compared and how they are matched on absentee ballots. It's done by private companies. There's no transparency. There's nobody in there watching them. And we find out later that, you got Mickey Mouse signature here and Donald Duck here, and they claim that they were by the same people. I could spend an hour with you going through the problems in our elections, and we are just not addressing them because everything has been politicized to the point that there's no meaningful dialogue across this divide. And part of the problem with you as an exception and a few others is the media.
Yeah.
They simply don't care.
Yeah.
They want their narrative out there. Whatever Trump says is bad, we don't have to pay attention to it. Even if it is serious,
but don't you think
to our country not to?
Don't you think it's a good sign that Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon is undertaking a serious investigation into these election integrity problems in the state?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely, and I appreciate her efforts. My main critique is with Congress and with state legislatures. Congress has been the primary problem. When they passed the Help America Vote Act, they essentially nationalized the elections. They incentivized machine use, eliminated transparency, and eliminated accountability because the real decision-making is made with the Election Assistance Commission. Your local elections officials, who you vote for, who answer to you, could go to prison for accessing the software that they use.
Yeah.
To count their votes.
Well,
it's an insane setup. It's just nuts.
Let's stay in touch and see how Harmeet does in New Jersey and see if it can go in other states as well. Phil Klein, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, a report from the Heartland. Tom Zalestowski from Ohio, his reaction to President Trump's speech, and what's going on with the midterms in the Heartland. Back with Tom Zalestowski after this.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Only one. There is only one conservative running for State House District 65, and that's Lee Reeves. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to protect the unborn and defend the sanctity of life. That's why Lee Reeves has the endorsement of Tennessee Right to Life. Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought to secure your Second Amendment rights, earning the endorsement and an A+ rating from the NRA. And Lee Reeves is the only one who has fought against illegal immigration, standing firm to secure our border and protect Tennessee families. Only one conservative has delivered for District 65, securing funding for Williamson County and the Mac Hatcher expansion. That's why Mayors Rogers Anderson and Ken Moore and State Senator Jack Johnson endorse Lee Reeves. There's only one conservative for State House, and that conservative is Lee Reeves. Paid for by Lee Reeves for State House, Bev Berger, Treasurer.
250 years ago, following an extraordinary victory that shook the globe, these newly forged Americans walked off the battlefield to create something unique in the world. A government that values individual liberty and justice. A system of laws built on limiting power and holding the mighty to account. They were young, they were bold, and together they wrote a document that changed everything. That document still stands, and 250 years later, the question remains, can we keep it? This October in Brentwood, Tennessee, students in grades 8 through 12 have a chance to answer that question and compete for a $10,000 Grand Champion Education Scholarship. More than $17,000 in education scholarships will be awarded in all. The 2026 National Constitution Bee, Saturday, October 24th, Spring Hill Suites, Marriott, Brentwood, Tennessee. Register now at nationalconstitutionbee.org. That's nationalconstitutionbee.org.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line by our very good friend for many years, the founder of the We the People Convention in Ohio, the great state of Ohio, and early organizer of the Tea Party movement, the one, the only, Tom Zawistowski. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael. Glad to be with you this morning.
Well, a week after President Trump's speech about the problem of election integrity, lack thereof, what's it look like from the heartland, Tom Zawistowski?
Well, we are certainly encouraged that President Trump brought the receipts. You and I have known all the things that he, disclosed, all the government documents that are finally now out there. We knew that information in 2020. And we were screaming about it, and we were trying to get courts to look at it. And, we were just blown off. You guys are conspiracy theorists, nothing to see here, all that. So the good news is that the documents are out there and they're real. And as much as the lamestream media, the co-conspirators, as it were, in the media, want to dismiss them, there's real data there. There's real facts there. And the fact of the matter is that the communist Chinese and the multiple other foreign nations interfered in our elections, and there was a lot of cheating. The downside is, and you and I have been talking about this forever, it's got to be prosecutions. This was treason. These people, overthrew a sitting president of the United States. They talked about in the documents that were released about them running a shadow government and intentionally not telling the president of the United States that China had done the things that they knew they'd done. We need to see prosecutions, Michael, and that's the heart of our frustration right now.
Well, it looks like in New Jersey there may be such prosecutions. Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General, said after the governor there, Mikey Sherrill, said, "Oh, everything Donald Trump said is not true, except, we didn't let 6,600 illegal aliens register. It was a glitch in the software." John Solomon showed, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a bug in the software. It was a feature, a direction from the client, the state of New Jersey. I think those prosecutions will be successful. Before we get into some of the details, let me ask you this. Just going to pause. I'm going to ask this question. Is the United States of America better off having gone through the stolen election of 2020, 4 years of Joe Biden, and now Trump 2.0? Are we better off with the recognition of all the cheating that went on, and now Trump coming in 2.0, really ready to fix things, versus, well, what if Joe Biden had not been allowed to cheat in 2020 and Mike Pence had become vice president? What would the country look like? I don't know who would have won in 2024. Oh, what do you think? I mean, I know this is sort of alternate history stuff, but what are your thoughts on that, Tom Sosowski?
Well, Michael, I think it's an important discussion to have. So here's what I think. I think God works in mysterious ways, and you and I fought like heck to make sure that we fought the stolen election and tried to keep Trump, the duly elected president. And God knew better. He put Trump out into the desert for 4 years so he could kind of figure out what he didn't understand in his first term, and he's way better. But are we better as a country? And the answer to that is we're not going to know until this November, because if we don't fix these things, we're going to be way worse off as a country. We're going to lose our country. If we fix it, if we do the things we must do, like pass the Save America Act, then we're going to be way better off, because the Democratic, Communist, Socialist, whatever party you want to call it, will cease to exist and will go the way of the Whigs. And then we can work on trying to fix the Republican Party as well, because they're a mess, and shouldn't be any part of this at all.
Well, yeah, Tom, that's a very interesting way to look at it. It's a little bit early to determine that answer, right? Because a lot of negative things happened under the illegitimate Biden presidency. Much of that's been corrected, not all of it, but the issue is in doubt, right?
It's a big doubt.
Yeah. Well,
Michael, listen, if you commit these level of crimes and there is no accountability, we don't have a country. The whole country is based on the rule of law, not of men. Yeah. It's based on equal justice in the law. And you know what they tried to do to you and I. It's real simple. If Donald Trump doesn't win in 2024, you and I are not having this conversation unless our prison cells are next to each other.
Yeah, we're at the Gray Bar Hotel.
You bet. That's a fact.
I mean,
probably. That's not hyperbole. That's a fact, folks. So, don't doubt that.
And that's likely to be coming. I think if a Democrat were to win, well, the beginning of it would be the Democrats win the midterms, take over the House, maybe the Senate. It'll be the beginning of that kind of authoritarianism where you squelch everybody who is a conservative. Now, let's get to the issue in Ohio. So the Senate right now is 53-47, but there are, according to the Cook Political Report, 4 toss-ups. The toss-ups are Michigan, which is currently a Democrat seat. It's an open seat. Alaska, which is currently a Republican seat, Senator Sullivan. Maine, Senator Collins. I think she's going to end up pulling that one out. But then also Senator Husted in Ohio. Do I pronounce it? What's the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, you're right. Husted.
Senator Husted. Okay. Yeah. So it's a toss-up. Former Senator Sherrod Brown is in there. They're spending lots of money. What can you tell us about that race?
Well, unfortunately, it's close.
Yeah.
It's very close. And what's the problem with John Husted? Now, from our standpoint, and I've known John for a long time, and we have not supported him. He's basically a rhino. But since he was appointed to the Senate, he has voted with us. He's been with Trump all the way, and we're happy with him, and we want to reelect him. The problem is that he's not very popular around the state because during COVID, he was the lockdown guy. John Husted stood on our TV and said, if you own a small family business and you don't close down by this weekend, I will shut off your gas and electricity and put you out of business. How's that? And so Sherrod Brown was a senator for a long time. He's got good name recognition, and they're going to lie about him. He's a commie. His wife's a commie, okay? And they're going to make him look like Mr. Everyman, right? And so it's going to be a close race, and we're going to have to turn out, not because we like John Husted, but because we love our freedom, and we have to defeat every Democrat. We have to vote for every Republican with a pulse across the country, bar none. Doesn't matter what they say, do, think, their policies, their record, doesn't matter. For our best interest, we have to vote for every Republican with a pulse because the alternative is worse.
So let's talk about the gubernatorial race up there. You mentioned the Husted's problem because he was, pro-lockdown. Well, the queen of lockdowns in Ohio, Dr. Amy Acton, who worked for the Rhino governor there, Mike DeWine, and she was in charge of lockdowns. And there's so many examples of her misrepresenting the facts, but she was really, really in charge of and favored lockdowns. She left the DeWine administration shortly after the COVID debacle. She's right now the Democrat nominee. It's a toss-up, according to Cook Political Report right now. Vivek Ramaswamy, our friend, the Republican nominee, has not built up a lead over her. What's going on there? Why is Dr. Lockdown in a tie with Vivek Ramaswamy in the gubernatorial race in Ohio?
Yeah, that'd be a great question to ask his campaign staff, wouldn't it? Who mostly are all John Kasich people. Yeah, you've spent $20 million on Vivek's campaign, and a completely pathetic candidate, Amy Acton, has spent $5 million, and you're losing. I would say that means your campaign sucks. And what I've tried to tell Vivek is the reason you're losing is because you're following the Columbus cartel and you're doing nothing but giving platitudes and talking a big game and doing nothing. And I got news for you. The word I'm getting across the state of Ohio from grassroots people is we're not going to vote. There's nothing for us to vote for. We're not going to vote for active. We're going to stay home.
I consider Vivek a friend. Or at least we're friendly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've talked before. He seems a very sharp guy. When's the last time you talked to him, and what is specifically your advice to him?
My advice, I speak to him regularly. At least now he's not responding as quickly as he used to. We used to talk a lot more often, but criticism is harsh, but it's real simple. I gave them the biggest gift you could ever give anybody. We have $2.6 billion in our state budget that we don't need. We have $1.8 billion. We collected more in taxes than we planned on.
So you basically want to cut
and $800 million we didn't spend. And I asked them to give it back to the people.
Okay.
And they won't.
Well, there you go. I hope he listens to you, Tom. Tom Zalsowski with the We the People Convention, our friend for many years. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Keep fighting. Vote for every Republican with a pulse.
All right. Hey, up next, our exclusive interview with Senator Marsha Blackburn. who's running for governor in Tennessee. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Marsha Blackburn is an incredible person.
She's a fighter, a true fighter. For the people of Tennessee, she loves your state.
Trump trusted Tennessee first. Marsha Blackburn will deport illegal immigrants from Tennessee in record numbers and ban China from buying up 1 inch of Tennessee land.
Marsha Blackburn, a very, very early supporter of ours, a really wonderful woman.
A rock-solid conservative who will fight the woke agenda, deliver results, and never, ever back down.
They're lucky to get you because you are a talent and a great person, and you've been with me all the way, and I appreciate it.
Tennessee's one and only Marsha Blackburn for governor.
She's a fighter, a true fighter. For the people of Tennessee, she loves your state.
Paid for and authorized by Marsha for Governor, Treasurer Glenn Jacobs.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Piers 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
I'm Brent Taylor, and I approve this message.
Brent Taylor has my complete and total endorsement. Those are the words of President Trump announcing his endorsement of Brent Taylor for Congress. President Trump can count on Brent Taylor to support the American First agenda, fighting inflation, cutting spending, deporting illegal immigrants, and protecting our conservative values. President Trump endorsed Brent Taylor for Congress. Now he needs your vote. Paid for by Brent Taylor for Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Marsha Blackburn, United States Senator, is running for governor of the state of Tennessee. We conducted an exclusive interview with her. Here's part of that, talking about how she would govern and work with the Tennessee General Assembly. Talk about your style as governor.
All right.
One thing that I love about Tennessee is, and I'll tell you a story that when we first moved to Tennessee, I'm kind of interested in politics, but let me feel out, see what people of Tennessee are about, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the last thing somebody from Tennessee wants, somebody who arrives here and 6 weeks later trying to tell everybody what to do, right?
What's wrong with you?
Tennessee's been doing okay on its own, right?
Very true.
And I think the guy's name was the Secretary of State, 1991. I just walked into the Capitol. I walked into the Secretary of State's office. Hey, I'm new. And he said, well, come on in. And we talked for half an hour. And I thought, This would never happen in any other state.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very much the style of Tennessee. The other thing I love about Tennessee, I love the fact that the legislature is part-time.
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Every time the legislature goes full-time, all of a sudden, they're finding ways to spend money.
That's it.
New York.
Or give away money.
Or give away money to their buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's part-time. It's usually about 4 months.
That's right.
And the other thing that's just fantastic about that, I mean, we're here in the studio in our world headquarters, but, members of the Tennessee General Assembly, they come in all the time. We talk to them.
Sure.
But they're normal people. They work 4 months of the year in the state capitol. They don't make a lot of money. The other 8 months, they got to go make a living.
That's right.
That connects
and make
them.
up for lost time.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
But this is what's interesting to me. Now, the state of Tennessee has a different structure, different constitution. Every state has a new one. Here in Tennessee, the governor can veto a bill.
Right.
But both houses can override it with a majority. What does that mean? It means they got to work with the Tennessee General Assembly. I think you probably know pretty much everybody in the Tennessee General Assembly.
I do. And like I said earlier, I have great relationships. And I'm so honored that so many have endorsed me. I've got good working relationships with some that are on the Democrat side. They've needed information from the federal government. I have helped them with that or things for their districts. And so there is that foundation of a relationship that is so vitally important to get things done. We're very fortunate that in Tennessee we have supermajorities in both of our houses. That makes a difference.
Yeah, that's great. Of course, we've got great leaders.
Yes.
We've got Cam Sexton, the Speaker of the House. And then you've got retiring Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally. And
I served with him.
For those listeners out there who would wonder, how do we have a lieutenant governor? We have only one statewide elected office.
That's right.
Statewide. That's a state office. It's governor. Right. Our lieutenant governor is the president of the state senate.
Right.
And so we'll have a new one.
Yeah.
But you've got great relationships with the current majority leader there, Jack Johnson. I think you've received a number of endorsements from the state legislatures as well.
Yes, I have. I have, and it means so much that they have confidence in the relationship that I have with them. They know that I have been helpful to what they're trying to accomplish for the people that they represent. And a good thing, too, I do county meetings every year in the counties around the state. And if they are not in session, generally they're with me in those meetings. And it's great because if there's a question that comes up that it's a state question, I just immediately turn that to the state legislator that is with me. And people get their answers so much faster.
You know, you talked about teamwork.
Yeah.
And Tennessee recently has seen great examples of teamwork between the governor, the Tennessee General Assembly, and Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti.
Who is fantastic. He's a good friend, and I am a big fan of his work.
Yeah, and so when you work with the Tennessee General Assembly on drafting a law, oftentimes they'll talk to the Attorney General and say, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
And these laws are designed so that they'll survive court challenges. And
That's right.
with Skrmetti as Attorney General, they do pretty well.
Yes, he has a very good record of writing, helping the legislators so that they withstand any court challenges that come. That's a good thing.
Now, let's talk about, as governor, you have a state bureaucracy. And, you know, bureaucracies don't always want to do what the elected executive wants them to do.
Right.
Do you have a plan for dealing with that potential?
Absolutely, we do. William Lamberth, who is the majority leader in the State House, he and I have talked about doing a Tennessee Doge. He's a big fan of this, and I think it's going to be the right thing to do, and we need to do it right off the bat. I mean, just right off the top, so that we are addressing where there is bloat or waste or fraud that is in state government. We run a pretty lean ship, but there's waste. And getting people coming back to work, people that have been working remotely, so that we can do a proper assessment of employees and how many we need and where we need them. I think that's going to be an important thing that we do.
So that's our exclusive interview with Marsha Blackburn. You can see it on my X site, Michael P. Leahy, the full 1 hour or so interview. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Up next, Rob Carson, our website, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. I hope you have a great day.
Hey folks, John Fredericks here, White House correspondent, your national TV and radio talk show host. There is no better time to follow me on social media than right now. We're red hot at JF Radio Show, at JF Radio Show. Doesn't matter if you're TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything is right there. We're on X, we're on Rumble. You name it, we're there. Don't forget Getter too. Just follow me at JF Radio Show. And if you ever